All right. Hello. I got a tedious task and I do not want to do it. So basically the task that I want to do is copying and pasting an email address one at a time from a file into a share window in Zoom. So Zoom's kind of pesky right here. I wish I could just copy and paste in one shot all these email addresses in, but you'll see what happens if I try to do that. It doesn't do it. It says no matching data. It kind of verifies to each email as an email, and then you have to select it. So I literally have to go back and forth, copy, paste, then I have to select the matched email address. Then I have to go back, I have to copy, paste, wait for the little pop-up, hit down twice, hit enter, copy, paste. And you can see this is tedious, especially if I had hundreds of email addresses. This would take a really long time to do. And this little pop-up window is finicky. If I click off of it, poof, it disappears forever. And if I go click it again, it's gone. So I need to make sure I don't make any mistakes, because one little mistake and I wasted a bunch of time. So what I would like to do is to automate this somehow. So I am going to use a desktop use tool called Vercept Vy, or Vy by Vercept. So I'm going to come in here, and I've actually created a workflow already that knows how to do this. It knows how to copy and paste emails from an open text window into this Zoom window, and how to select the matching email and to continue doing that. So I'm going to come in here and I am going to just select the workflow. I have already made this workflow called copy email addresses from BB Edit to Zoom Share. So this has already been trained in how to do it. So I'm just going to hit enter, and I'm going to let this thing go and run by itself. All right, so the little window kind of minimizes there, and then you'll see that VY is running. And if I want to, I can go and pause it. So very important right now is this is taking over my entire computer. I'm not supposed to be touching anything. If I touch my mouse, I touch my keyboard, it's going to screw things up. VY does have an ability for you to use a remote browser, so that it can open up a remote browser and operate in that, so that you can still use your computer while it's doing its thing. But I'm not using a browser right now. I am using local applications, native applications. My file editor is called BB Edit, and I've got Zoom, so those are both native. So I have to allow it to overtake my computer. So you can see right now, one of the things it actually did is it selected all of the email addresses. So kind of one nifty thing is, rather than copying and pasting one at a time, it actually copies all of the email addresses into memory. And then it pastes the email addresses from memory, rather than having to go back and forth switching applications. So that's kind of cool. So you'll see it's actually already gone through and taken the top email address, alden.riverfox@lumora.io. And don't worry, all these email addresses are fake. I went into ChatGPT and I just said, hey, give me 50 fake email addresses that are unique. And so I did that. So let's see here. So it's still running. It's taken a little while right now. So it got that first one pretty good. I'm not sure what it's doing for the second one. Let's see what it's doing here. It's probably thinking of what to do. Or maybe taking screenshots. Yes, it took a screenshot and said, perfect, first email address added successfully. I can see it as a blue tag. Now I'll continue adding the remaining 49. So rather than just ripping through and tearing through it and potentially screwing up, in the very beginning, it goes a little slower. It pauses, it verifies, makes sure that it's actually successful, because who knows, after you created the workflow, things could have changed, interfaces could have changed. So it tries to self-learn. So you can see now it's going much faster. So it's actually already copied in 4 email addresses and now 5 email addresses. So it's actually going through, and as it shows success, it actually starts speeding up. So right now it's pausing half a second in between each one. It's actually, after about 5 or 6, it's probably going to pause And again, just to make sure that everything is good. Yep, so it said excellent, 5 emails have been added successfully. I can see all of the tags, continue with the remaining 45 emails. So now it's going to go a little bit faster. Still waiting 0.25 seconds, but it's going to do its thing. It's going to check and make sure it's actually doing things correctly. It's going to take screenshots intermittently to make sure it's working. And as you can see, it's going through, it's doing its thing. It's copying and pasting email addresses. It's not the fastest in the world right now. It's only done 7 or 8 now of those. But there is ways that you can tweak things to speed it up, because the workflow that gets created is a text file. So I'll actually show that to you right now. So I'm actually going to pause. So I'm going to pause it. It's actually created an entire screen recording. So if I want to, I can actually go back and actually play that entire screen recording, and I can fast forward. I can go full screen if I want to, and it'll actually repeat the entire video of what actually happened. So what I actually did earlier when I did this, I said, great, this workflow is great. Can you please save this as a workflow? And so what it did is it actually saved it under here as a workflow, copy email addresses from BBEdit to Zoom shared dialogue. So you can go through and run this. You can do it if it has full control. We did it on full control. You can schedule it for a later point in time. Or if this was only using a browser, you could run it in the background. And that way it actually launches a browser that doesn't affect the rest of your computer. But what I'm going to do is click this little icon, and I'm going to click the edit. So you can see the workflow steps that it did. Now, I did not create this. What I actually did is I actually just gave it text commands, and I said, hey, there's a window on the right, a window on the left. Can you copy these email addresses over? One little shortcut is when you paste it in, hit down, down, enter, and then it will put the email address into that box. So that did take me a few tries to get it right, but once I got it right, I said, hey, take all the learnings that you just had from our chat and save it as a workflow, and it created this entire workflow. So in this workflow, you'll see wait for confirmation, wait 250 milliseconds for the email to be added as a blue tag. So I'm going to actually, and there's another one that says wait for the drop down, wait 250 milliseconds. I'm going to change both of those to 150 milliseconds, save and close. So this should actually now speed it up. So I'm going to say run in full control. So let's see what happens to see how long it takes. So it should actually go through and run this workflow again. And because the task is still in queue. Okay. So now that I went through and I updated it to run, just wait 100 milliseconds instead of 200 milliseconds, it should technically go faster now. All right. It notices that there's already a couple email addresses copied over, and it's actually going to go through and resume. So it actually first starts off by copying all of the email addresses into memory. It creates a to-do file in the background you don't need to worry about, but this is where it tells it where it is in progress. It's creating a task completion plan in that to-do file. So you can see it pasted over the next one, juno.frost@silverweft.io. So let's see, this one is still taking a little while before it actually hits the down twice and then hits enter. Let's see, it's taking a little slower right now. It hasn't gotten into its rhythm of things where it can now just start bouncing back and forth and kind of executing more autonomously. Let's see here. Still just says creating the task completion plan. All right, I'll start adding the email addresses to Zoom. Let me click in the text box and begin with the first email. It actually already pasted one in here. It just hasn't hit down, down, and enter to actually select it. So let's see if this actually works. Probably a best practice in this case is to just start over. That way it doesn't actually make any mistakes by like missing some email addresses or kind of being in the middle. So it copied over now Alden River Fox. So it actually started all over again. So it Yeah, so that's why it's good, to kind of start all over again once you got one of these workflows. Let that workflow run to completion from start to end. So because it restarted the entire workflow again, it started at the beginning with the very, very, very first email, alden.riverfox. I do love I do love some of the email addresses that ChatGPT came up with, like Cloud Splice, Iron Pedal, Twilight Node, Soft Quarry, Blue Forge, Kindle Drift, Velvet Byte with a BYTE. So pretty creative here. And so now let's see what's happening over. All right, you can see now it is moving faster. It's actually going faster. It's going down, hitting enter. And that way, like I said earlier, you can kind of go, just because the executions are, the workflows are text files, you can go in and you can just tweak it as you need to if you want to like really tailor it and really tweak it. So that's about all I'm going to show. There we go. 4 email addresses have been copied over, yada, yada. I'm going to pause this now, but hopefully you learned something from this video. And yeah, Vercept is the name of the company, and the name of the product is called Vy. So just search for Vy by Vercept and give it a whirl and let me know what you think. Thank you.